Hello and welcome to the bonsai garden. What I want to do today is to give you a quick update on several trees and projects which I worked on in the previous year. Here is my Heron's crab apple tree, which if you've seen many of my videos you've probably seen this tree before. It's a tree which I bought from a visit to Heron's Bonsai just south of London, probably about a year and a half ago. It's currently the middle of April and you can see that it's just on the cusp of flowering, and when these open out what I will get is a white flower with a hint of pink. I haven't actually done an awful lot with this tree other than position a couple of the branches, and there are a couple more branches particularly up here that I just want to lower slightly with some wire. But it certainly looks beautiful at this time of year. The tree does develop some suckers around the base of the plant and I will be just tidying those up. This tree is an ornamental cherry tree of some kind, which I rescued from the bargain section of a local nursery. And it's just flowered with this double flower in the last couple of days. And the tree was really a bit of a no-hoper in the bargain section on the end of the counter in the nursery, and I saw it and thought that there might potentially be a bonsai tree in there. And you can see that as well as the lovely pink double flower, it's also got an interesting silvery bark to it. I have here a Scots pine that I bought from the Doncaster show in February, and it was in a small planter and it actually fit this Donna George dragon pot, and I've been looking for a while to find an appropriate tree to fit into this pot, and this one just seemed to fit perfectly. You can see here the largest of my larch trees, and this is a tree that I got from Banksia Bonsai in Wisbech about 2 years ago. The tree was quite sparse when I got it, and I've been gradually building the ramification on this tree, and I just repotted that about a month ago. The tree was just replanted into the same pot, and the soil was refreshed and the roots trimmed. And you can see as a result of that, the tree was quite invigorated and has put out a healthy flush of leaves. Just here we've got the dwarf azalea that I bought from Way of Life Bonsai in the garden centre in York about 18 months ago. This tree has never looked particularly healthy in all the time that I've had it. I repotted it into this Walsall ceramics pot not long after I got it, and perhaps that might have been an issue. I might have disturbed the roots. It looked dry and wizened like this last year, but it actually put out flowers, which surprised me. So I'm hoping it does the same this year, although I have a suspicion that this might be the end of this tree. Although if that's the case, at least I've got a lovely blue pot that I can use for something else. This is my butterfly maple grove, and you can see that's still yet to leaf out. This silver birch stumpy next to it, on the other hand, is beginning to leaf out. One of the things I do want to do with this is to put super glue into that ura or hole in the deadwood, just to strengthen the wood somewhat and prevent it rotting too quickly. All I'm doing here is taking some regular super glue type glue and just allowing that to run down the wood and soak in. And as that seeps into the wood, it should provide a degree of hardening in the wood. And what I'm hoping is that when there is rain or water going into the ura, what will happen is it will seep down to the bottom and just drain out of the bottom there. And I believe that I've seen Harry Harrington recommending using super glue for this type of work. It's fast drying and should provide the effect that I'm after. Should go without saying that you want to apply this at a time when the wood is dry, and we've got quite a warm, dry day today, and the tree's been drying out for a couple of days, so it's a great opportunity to do this. And so now there's a coating on there which I just need to leave to dry and permeate the wood. Interestingly, my different Japanese maples are in different stages. So you can see here my Katsura, which is a tree I bought from the local DIY store B&Q about 3 years ago, is in this beautiful orange leaf. It's still quite soft, so I'm waiting for those leaves to harden off. But just behind that, I've got one of my Disherger maples, and you can see that that is only just beginning to leaf out. Next to both of those is this trident maple, which has been leafing out for a couple of weeks now. I'm just waiting for those to harden off. And you can appreciate the difference in colours between those trees. Here's a Beni Mako Japanese maple, and it's a little bit more advanced than the Dishojo, but not very much, and it has a similar leaf colour to it. On the monkey poles here, I've got my Orange Dream group, and this is the one where the tree in the middle here had died, and so I did a bit of a wedge cut, took that dead tree out, and I've put this new tree in there. And you can see that those are all beginning to leaf out as well. In the back there is my Atropurpurea forest group. There is a dead tree at the end of that, which I may need to remove. In the tub here is my hornbeam stumpy, and this is one which I've tried ground layering, and I took out of a deeper pot just a little while ago, and it's now resting in this pot to try and develop the roots more. It's a tree that I will need to remove the wire from shortly to stop that from cutting in and causing any lasting damage to the tree. This tree is a tree that I did as a project last year to see if I could develop a tiny little yew tree from a nursery plant. And you can see that although it has survived winter, and we do have some green foliage on there, several of the branches, particularly lower down, haven't fared so well. So I think this is one that just needs to rest for this growing period to try and regain some of its health and vigour. My pine trees have now taken up residence on the monkey poles on this side of the garden. So starting at this side, we've got a black pine which is in development. We've got next to that a Muga pine pumilur, I believe. Then we've got the larger of my Japanese white pines in here. We've got a little bit of a blush on the end of some of the needles there. Next to that is the smaller of my Japanese white pines. Got some wire on there to move some of the branches downwards. To this side here we've got a Japanese black pine which came from the seller in Hull who's on eBay, and I think I'm going to try and develop that so that it has a Nigari exposed root effect. So I may need to do some work on that shortly. Next to that is a Japanese red pine, which is just a rough tree. It's quite a healthy, vigorous tree, but it's only just starting its journey as bonsai. The final project I want to show you is, this is the $50 challenge tree, which was an osmanthus, which is very similar to a privet. It's in a different pot than I put it in for the $50 challenge because it was blown off the benches and the pot was damaged. It's got quite a nice thick trunk on it. And also, quite recently, it's developing these lovely little white flowers. Hope you found it interesting to see and get a bit of a catch up on some of the things that I worked on last year, and hope to catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.